Hey everyone. Thank you. Good morning, Singapore. So these badges are actual floppy disks. How cool it is. Okay, so a lot of research companies recently, like Mizari Crypto, have been saying that a decentralized database is the missing piece of Web3. And that's what we are going to cover for the next 15 minutes. So let's start by talking about the origin of Arweave. Arweave started as a decentralized permanent storage solution with the main goal of preserving the human knowledge on chain. But fast forward to a couple of years ago, a lot of use cases started to emerge. Some of them are oracles like Redstones, databases like WeaveDB and Quill, smart contracts like Warp, social networks like Lens. So Arweave is now a fundamental layer for building decentralized applications. So back in 1960, Charles Pacman created the first ever database. And it was revolutionary in the tech industry. But fast forward to like 4 or 5 years ago, we started to realize, okay, a centralized database is a single point of failure. There are so many issues, including lack of transparency, scalability challenges, not to mention it's not Web3 compatible. Even multi-billion-dollar companies like Twitter, for example, are getting hacked. Earlier this year, Twitter got 230 million users' info leaked on the internet. And we are talking about multi-billion-dollar companies. So the question would be, why didn't we build a decentralized database before? And the main reason because traditional blockchains aren't ideal for databases. So they are revolutionary, okay, but they have their own set of limitations. So with a traditional blockchain, we have transaction bottlenecks. So remember when we used to pay like $400 per transaction on Ethereum? That was wild. And also limited data storage. So with traditional blockchains, in nature, they prioritize transactional data, and that makes them inefficient for extensive data storage. So the need for a decentralized permanent storage solution has arisen at that time. And the solution is Arweave. So Arweave enables a database to exist for the first time in Web3. And this is because of so many things. A couple of them are because it provides a decentralized, cheap, permanent storage solution. So with Arweave, you pay for a one-time fee and you store your data forever. And there is also a scalable network of nodes. It's a decentralized network of nodes around the world, and it ensures availability. So you can query your data back at any time and wherever you are in the world. So a lot of new cases started, a lot of databases started to come up on Arweave. Some of them are NoSQL databases like WeaveDB and Glacier, SQL databases like Quill, AI-focused databases like FirstBatch that has a couple of products. One of them is Dani, which is a vector database. There is also Mind Network. I'm so sorry if I didn't mention any databases here, but I think there's also DB3. I forgot to add it to the slides. So all of these databases are contributing to the growth of Arweave. And Arweave has hit a weave size of 135 terabytes recently. I think a lot of people already mentioned this, but I think databases are going to scale Arweave to a new extent. So I'm going to hand this over to my partner, who's going to talk about what we have been working on at WeaveDB and share some exciting announcements.
Thanks, Ahmad. I just found out that he's such a nice speaker, like great speaker. And by the way, I'm the founder of WeaveDB, and yeah, I'd like to make a striking statement right now. Blockchains cannot scale Web3. And let me explain what I mean. So blockchains are actually just primitive ledgers, and they are good enough for token transfers and simple DeFi applications, but not beyond. So most web applications require a full-featured database, and blockchains cannot serve as such a database. So what are the differences between databases and blockchains? So databases require ACID properties with hyper-low latency. So ACID stands for atomicity, consistency, isolation, and durability. And durability means if once a query is committed, it has to be permanent and immutable. And the other three properties cannot be guaranteed before you get the durability. And the only way a blockchain can guarantee the durability is with its finality. So the fastest blockchain has something around like 500 millisecond time to finality, and which is never fast enough for databases. So a practical database requires less than 1 millisecond finality to handle something like 100,000 transactions per second with the lowest latency possible. So a blockchain with decentralized consensus can never achieve that. So databases are only practical with centralized servers, but we cannot scale Web3 unless we decentralize databases. So enter layer 2 blockchains. So layer 2 rollups are centralized but verifiable. What does that mean? So layer 1 blockchains, like Ethereum, they are decentralized for maximum security. But layer 2 rollups are taking trade-offs of centralization for performance and scalability. And layer 2 inherits security from layer 1, meaning if something happens, everything will be verifiable on layer 1, and the users can recover their assets. But layer 2 sequencers are centralized, at least for now. So here's what gets interesting. So layer 2 rollups don't have to be EVM equivalent, or they don't even have to be a blockchain. So we can actually build anything with the layer 1 verifiability and the layer 2 centralization. So why not build databases instead of simple ledgers? So let me talk about something unique about Arweave. Arweave has this new paradigm for smart contracts called SCP, a storage-based consensus paradigm, which separates computation from storage and makes smart contracts extremely cheap and scalable. So now deterministic computations are executed on the client side and off-chain. So users only pay for the cheap permanent storage and not for off-chain computation. We call it SmartWave. So this new paradigm has got its own bottlenecks. So now each user has to download all transaction history from Arweave and lazy evaluate the current contract state. So this makes computation and caching a burden to the client side, and this would never scale in practice. So one way to solve this problem is to have intermediary evaluation nodes to remove the burden from the client side. But even then, database has got another problem with the sequencer. Yeah. Right, so warp is the sequencer for SmartWave contract, and it doesn't evaluate anything. But databases need real-time evaluations to endure ACID properties. So even though the sequencer can process transactions extremely fast, we are experiencing something like 3-second latency if we want to endure ACID properties. So database does not work with bare SmartWave contract and the sequencer. So now, introducing SCP rollup, aka WeaveDB rollup. So the lazy evaluation model of SCP is actually perfect for rollup architecture because layer 2 rollups can be the client side to handle real-time evaluations and bundle up transactions to L1 at extremely low cost. Then we can use warp as a shared sequencer for layer 2 rollups, and it provides atomic composability with lazy evaluation as a settlement layer. Oh. Sorry. Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier, layer 2 rollups can be anything, so we can actually process transactions in parallel to bring out the same performance as centralized databases. So WeaveDB rollups are SCP rollup to make decentralized databases as scalable and performant as centralized databases. And let me talk about how decentralized databases actually work. So decentralized databases are quite different from centralized ones because anyone can write anything to it from anywhere. It's permissionless. So you actually have to precisely set up data schemas and access control rules, and the data ownership should be cryptographically secured. So to address these issues, we developed a domain-specific language called FPJSON. And FPJSON is a functional programming utility with more than 250 composable functions. So you can actually express any level of advanced logic by composing JSON arrays. And FPJSON enables a rich set of features for decentralized databases, such as crypto wallet authentication, data schema, access control rules, and auto-executed cron jobs, triggers to chain queries, off-chain plugins, and relayers to connect with external data. So WeaveDB is a NoSQL database nearly compatible with Firestore from Google, and it got simple but powerful queries, and all indexers are on-chain. So this is how WeaveDB is designed. So we decouple the database internals and build everything as composable smart contracts, because everything that is not a smart contract is off-chain and not atomically composable in trustless environments. So we have data stored on the bottom layer, and anyone can plug in their own indexers and have their own query parsers and APIs. So this modular database architecture enables sharing of the same data with multiple databases, and it makes open data reusable. You can actually build different types of database on top of WeaveDB, such as NoSQL database, relational database, GraphQL, and even VectorDB for artificial intelligence. Every component will be composable, pluggable, and swappable. This is quite different from the centralized databases. So WeaveDB brings a new paradigm to how decentralized applications are built with its SCP rollup and modular database architecture. So now, once again, our CEO, Ahmad, has something special for you guys.
Hello again. Did you miss me already? Okay, so there are so many use cases of WeaveDB. After all, it's just a NoSQL database, and it has a huge market share that's in billions of dollars at the moment. But there are a couple of use cases I want to talk about. So the first one is decentralized social media. We have been seeing a lot of social media dApps using WeaveDB right now. Some of them are lens-based applications experimenting with WeaveDB, like LensPlay or Protocol, Socially, and many, many more. The other really unique use case is authentication. So there is this app that's called NFT Canvases that built on-chain verifiable NFT prints. So they are basically printing out NFTs, adding NFC, and then after you scan it, you can just verify that you are the real owner of that NFT. All of that is built using WeaveDB, and they have generated over $500,000 in revenue in the last few months. There are also other use cases like decentralized science, DeFi order books, and more. So WeaveDB has been in alpha, but we have seen more than 1,200 databases deployed. A lot of them are already in production, and also that puts WeaveDB at 600% growth in compare to last year. So our main vision at WeaveDB is to onboard the next 1 million devs from Web 2 into Web 3. And we are achieving this by three things. The first one is by providing a 10x simpler development experience. The second is by providing something similar to traditional databases, so there is no learning curve involved here. If you use our SDK, it's exactly similar to how Firestore is working in the Web 2 world. So you don't need to understand how the smart contract is working in the background or learn anything new. The last thing is by providing a no-code console. So even if you don't have any tech experience, if you have your laptops with you right now, just go to console.weavedb.dev, and you will be able to deploy your first ever database in 3 seconds and interact with that database literally without writing a single line of code. So I'm really excited to announce the launch of JOTS. JOTS is the ultimate decentralized social media built on WeaveDB. So you can think of JOTS as if Twitter and Medium had a baby. So you can basically post articles, tweets, follow people, get notifications, and everything you do on Twitter and Medium at the moment. So JOTS is currently in alpha. If you are interested in joining the waitlist, please go to jots.social and register for the waitlist. We also believe that JOTS is not going to be the only decentralized social network. We believe that anyone should be able to deploy their own decentralized social network without writing code. So that's what we are going to release soon, JOTS Network. With JOTS Network, you will be able to deploy your own JOTS, which is a fully decentralized social network, and customize it the way you want. So adding your logo, customizing the colors, adding features without writing a single line of code. So true Web3 mass adoption can start today with WeaveDB and the PermaWeb. Thank you very much, everyone, and hope you have an amazing day.